Welcome back to another episode of FLICC Friday, where we explore the tactics science deniers use to avoid dealing with inconvenient facts. Today, we are diving into another type of cherry-picking called quote mining. The trick here is to strip a quote of its context, to make it sound like the author meant something entirely different. You could argue that all quotes are removed from their context, but what makes it deceptive is to deliberately leave out parts that are important to convey the intended meaning. Outside of science denial, this tactic was quite common in marketing. When a critic reviewed a comedy show as not at all funny, the adverts would quote the critic simply as saying funny. Still a verbatim quote, but quite opposite to the original meaning. But it gets more serious in the context of science denial. Creationists love a quote by Charles Darwin, where he appears to call the idea of natural selection absurd in the highest degree. Only that in reality, he explains in the very next paragraph how it might seem absurd, but really isn't. The same happened to Albert Einstein. He is quoted by flat earthers saying that Earth's motion cannot be detected, but they leave out the very next half sentence reading, though the Earth is revolving around the sun. The irony here is that quote mining works by appealing to authority. If even Darwin called evolution absurd, maybe it is. But to make that argument, you must first accept Darwin as an authority on evolution, which makes cherry-picking his words even more absurd. Speaking of absurd, everyone has said yes or no countless times in their lives. So technically, anyone could be quote mined to support any opinion. Simply by asking the right question and picking the response you want. Doesn't prove anything though. And if all this still isn't enough to convince a science denier, try this one. The Bible states in more than 20 places, there is no God.